Hey, everybody, welcome in once again to another episode of the Hippie Chick Helps podcast. She is the Hippie Chick. She
Hi guys.
is Debbie Altman.
Hi guys. Nice to see you again. Hi Bruce. Nice to be with you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So we've talked about so many different things on the podcast, but let's get into really what is it that the Hippie Chick does? The services, the packages, what goes into hiring you as the Cannabis Concierge?
Okay, well, so up until now on the podcast, like you've said, we've covered different strains, we've covered different routes. We've talked about how people that use cannabis as medicine, it becomes a very personalized program, and it's very specific for each person, and it takes time. So it was that experience that I had myself, plus working in the industry and seeing all of the issues that patients were having, from the minor questions to the bigger questions, not being able to get through. We're all doing what we can in the industry. No one's at fault, but there were some gaps that I saw, and especially for the patient that is looking for it as a medicinal program. And that's where the Hippie Chick came in. I found that a lot of the times, people would go and, want to go and get, their card. And the process, for those people, for most people, it's fairly simple. They go, they contact a center, they get the appointment with the doctor, they pay the state, they go to the dispensary and everything is fine. There's more complex patients, more and more patients that are now using cannabis, patients with Parkinson's, patients with cancer, patients that are using it for PTSD or mental disorders. And those are the patients that I find were getting lost in the process. Not every doctor is qualified to service or to care for someone with more complex issues. So with the Hippie Chick, I offer different programs that starts with an initial Zoom, where I spend time with the patient, just, kind of getting to know them. What are the issues? What has been your experience with cannabis in the past, and why are you seeking it? I did recruiting of physicians, and so it's really important that you find a physician that is dispensing the cannabis that is going to, help you and kind of be an all-encompassing program. So, obviously the doctors are busy with their caseloads, and as are the dispensaries. But, people that use my services and my programs can choose from either a basic concierge package or a more complete package that from that initial Zoom is either more coddling or less coddling dependent on the patient's needs. So if they need subsequent follow-up Zooms, if I need to get medical records from their doctors, everything that I know that the doctor will need when they finally see the patient, I will make sure that the patient has and that I understand the needs of the patient. Obviously, there's things like payments to the state. I make sure that the patient or the member has the information about sending the payment to the state, and I confirm payment. Again, based
Because
on
it's confusing.
it, it
The setup is confusing.
yeah,
That your card is good for a year, that's issued by the state, but your prescription needs to be refilled every 7 months.
absolutely. And we would have so many patients call and say, what happened? I went to the dispensary. I can't get my prescription, or I can't, pick up my medicine. And it's really confusing. And that's where a lot of this hand holding comes in. And I think it's really, necessary because of the confusion. I can set up appointments once the payment to the state is taken care of, for a doctor to come and see the patient either at their home or, at a store that's closest to the patient's location. When the patient goes to see the doctor will already know about the patient, will have the patient's information, will have medical records, will have everything that they need. Once the patient sees the doctor in the regular scheme of medical marijuana. That's the only time that the patient will see the doctor until they have their next appointment at 7 months. Another thing that I saw that came up a lot was, okay, now I have my recommendation. I go to the dispensary. I speak to a bud tender. They're fabulous. They're great, but they only have limited information. So I go, I pick up my choice of medicine based on their recommendations. There's other patients. It's overwhelming when I walk into a dispensary if I've never been there.
Well, and not only that, they're, for the most part, very familiar with their own products. They're not familiar with other products. Products come and go. One of the roles that you play is that if a product that a client really likes is no longer available at one dispensary, you can find something similar either with that same dispensary or with another one.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing that point. It's really important. And that's, what happens. And you and I have spoken a lot about it. I've spoken to it with older patients. When you look at it as medicine and you go and, let's compare it to the pharmaceutical industry. When you go for your blood pressure medicine, if there's changes to your blood pressure medicine, you obviously as a patient want to be advised, whether it's generic or whether it's not, there's going to be changes and it affects you. So it's taking a step in helping you be your own personal concierge and taking your healthcare into your own matters. Your appointments with the dispensaries are going to be private, one-on-one, in private rooms that were once used for consults with doctors. That, kind of helps get rid of some of that inhibition that patients feel where it's so overwhelming, so many products. Also, depending on the level of service that the patient chooses with me, there's packages where I will go and accompany you to the dispensary, which is important because, again, a lot of the times patients don't know what questions to ask. Having been in the industry and having, many years of experience and kind of knowing this, I know what questions to ask and getting to know the patients one-on-one and what they really need. I will make sure that everything is covered. Not only that, but, as you say, we never want to lapse in the program. So everything from setting up delivery of products, I can help, with ordering of products. With a more specialized concierge program, I'll go over the week or the 2 weeks that you've spent using a certain medicine before we place another order to ensure that what we've selected up until that point is working. Because again, it can change from time to time. My role is to constantly be in contact with the doctor and be a liaison to the patient so that they can reach me at any time with any concerns, anything that they're feeling, so we can really find a personalized program that works for them, that they can count on without any lapses.
And there's so many different products that each dispensary has. We've done episodes in the past, orals, tinctures, flower, edibles, the list goes on and on, even topicals for aches and pains. So it is really wonderful to have a clearinghouse, if you will, where you can tell a patient, this dispensary has the best this, and I know this is a concern for you or a need for you. This dispensary has the best this. So it may not even be one-stop shopping, but you become, again, that consultant, that concierge that says, if that's important for you, this is the best place to go for this. This is the best place to go for that. You're on top of all of the specials and all of the sales. So if people are on a budget, they know where to go and how to get it.
Absolutely. Medical marijuana or medical cannabis can become very expensive. If you don't know, my members will receive, weekly emails with specials, new products, announcements. I am constantly doing research. I am a big believer in functional medicine and homeopathic medicine, and in the benefits of cannabis. And as it becomes recreational, there's going to be more more and more research that's going to be done. Obviously, the changes in the government, once that happens, we're going to be seeing more and more. But I just, believe that this is kind of where we're moving to as far as medicine. It's completely homeopathic. You don't have the side effects that you have with pharmaceuticals. And like I said, it was that gap, I believe, that, I can't reach my doctor, I can't reach the dispensary. I'm giving up. I'm going to go see my primary and I'm going to go back on my Klonopin because I can't find relief. And again, I use caution because they are necessary sometimes, the pharmaceuticals.
Sure.
So it's not, avoid them at all costs, but it is, let's look at homeopathic or more natural remedies first before we only offer pharmaceuticals with all of the side effects and, the long-term effects that they have on our body and our organs.
Now, I know everybody can go and reach out to you. Information is going on the ticker below about every little detail, and there are many in all of these different packages. But before we finish up, is there anything really specific that people need to know about the services that you provide?
I don't think that there is anything like it. That's why I created this. Like I said, I spent many years in the industry. I saw the good and the bad. I worked with consumers. I worked with doctors. I worked with medical card companies. We're all doing an incredible job. I think it's going to get even better if it becomes rec, and I hope to God it does. But yeah, I don't think that there's anything else like it out there. I believe in it so much. I want to be a resource. I want to be an advocate. I've done patient care and concierge my whole life, and it's just not available in cannabis. And even just with our few podcasts that we've had, I've gotten so many questions, so much feedback of how grateful they are that we're helping. Again, it's not something that everyone can be public about their cannabis use, unfortunately. So a lot of, people are reaching out to me, with discretion. I obviously respect HIPAA, but there is more and more that's coming out, and I'm grateful for the support. I am so happy to be a part of this, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
She's the hippie chick and she just wants to help. She's Debbie Altman. I'm Bruce Silverman. Thanks so much for being with us on another episode of the Hippie Chick Helps podcast. Debbie, just keep on rocking and rolling.
You got it. See you later. Have a good one, Bruce.
You too.
Bye.